You probably asked yourself this question. Is it worth it to become an artist if AI is going to take over everything? Are you doomed to spend your life doing something else because the dream of becoming an artist faded away once the machines took over? Well, I assure you that by the end of the video, you will not only be convinced that you should have an art career, but that AI images are in no way a threat to your future. So here there are 5 reasons why AI won't replace you. Reason 1, you can't make money off of it. Well, we know that AIs like Midjourney and DALL-E are getting better every day, and they're starting to get better at making art, but are they going to take your job away? Well, no, and here's the main reason. You can't own any of the art you make with AI. You can't own it, your publisher can't own it, your boss can't own it, no one can. Let me explain. Recently, the US Justice Department declared that AI art cannot be copyrighted. Why? Because copyright was meant to protect human work, and it considers that AI is not human work, because what you give to the AI are instructions similar to what a client would give to you when they hire you. That means that if an animation studio uses AI to design a character, say, they won't be able to own that design. Publisher has hired you to illustrate a book? Well, they can't own any of the images, and actually neither can you if you use AI. And actually anyone can use those images because no one owns them. It makes you wonder who wants to pay for AI work, doesn't it? Well, I'll tell you about it later in the video. Reason number 2, it is impossible for client work. You may think that working as an illustrator means getting hired to make an illustration, delivering the illustration, getting paid, and being done. Not so fast. Clients can range from giving you all the freedom that you need to scrutinizing every pixel on the screen. Whatever your next client is going to land on that spectrum, I'm pretty sure that they're going to want to be involved in the process of some way or the other. They'll want sketches, they'll want different compositions, they'll want different palettes, different character designs. It may take a bit before your client knows what they're looking for. Now, how would this work with AI? Someone would write a prompt, then get 4 sketches, and if they don't like them, they ask for 4 more sketches, and if they don't like them, ask for more sketches, and then 4 more sketches, and then 4 more sketches. So not only you will have to deal with your client say, I know it when I'll see it, but you, when you prompt to the AI, will have to try again until you see it, and then you have to make sure that the client is seeing the same thing, and those visions have to match. So even though some AR tools are being developed in order to remix AI images, the truth is that sometimes you get the craziest requests from the clients, some like changing a character's clothes, or changing the color of something, or moving the character a little bit to the left. There may come a day when AI is able to do all those things, but for the moment it can't. And I'm sure that you're asking yourself, like, Javi, you are saying that people are going to replace artists with AR artists instead of doing it themselves. Well, yes, people are not going to take the matter of creating art into their own hands. They want to pay someone else to do it. If they were planning on doing it themselves, they weren't planning on paying you for it. The only job that you're going to lose are those posts on Fiverr or Upwork where they wanted to illustrate a full children's book for $150. I've done some of those at the beginning of my career, and trust me that you don't want to do them. The clients are the worst. They'll drive you crazy with requests. They'll ask for a million changes, and by the time you're done, the money won't be even worth it anyway. I even had this client once that called me at 4 in the morning because he didn't care that we live in different time zones. It's crazy. And there's one more thing that you should know about client work. When working for clients like publishers, sometimes you might even get asked to deliver the PSD files that you worked on the illustrations. But who cares about that? Well, you should, because those files need to be paid for. It doesn't come standard with the usual work for hire contract. So that's a way that you can make a little bit extra with your actual hand-drawn work. I wanted to ask you, have you actually tried any of these AI tools? What did you think of them? Let me know in the comments. Reason 3. Who wants to pay for it? So we established that big clients don't want this, and small clients rather drive a person crazy than try to use a chatbot. So who actually wants to pay for this? Look, I don't want to give you the usual speech of the soulfulness of the artwork when done by a human. That speech is by artists, for artists, and I don't need to convince you that AI is just joyless and soulless. I'm saying you, as a consumer, as a reader, as a movie watcher, would you watch a movie that was written by an AI? Would you read a book that was written by an AI? Would you read an AI written comic book? You wouldn't, and not because that book wouldn't be any good, but because when you are consuming art, you're trying to find that the book you're reading or the movie that you're watching, it says something. Even if it is the dumbest comedy, you're still looking forward to have someone make you laugh. Even when we want to be amazed or scared or laugh, we want those feelings to be caused by a person, by someone else. Mainly because, whether we know it or not, we are always taking into account the merit and the effort put into creating this work of art. If a book is written by an AI, would you read it? Like, why? You can create your own AI book, you just tell an AI to write a book, and that's it. Why would you spend your time reading a book that can be created with the same AI that you have access to? Why would anyone? Let me give you an example. A few months ago, a book called Alice and Sparkle made it into the news because it was the so-called first book created by AI. It was a picture book, so the text was AI and the images were AI. The Wikipedia article for the book says that in the first 3 weeks, it sold an amazing 70 copies. That's it. No one cares. Paying to read an AI book is like paying to see someone walk. There's nothing interesting about it if everyone can do it. There is some interest in it now, because now, whether we like it or not, it is pretty revolutionary. But once we get used to seeing all of this, and we may already have, it's going to lose a lot of the shine and luster, and it's not going to be as new or as interesting as it is right now. Reason number 4. Listen to the elders. A lot of the conversation about AI and how it will leave everyone without a job comes mainly from people around the 20s or early 30s. Now look, I've been doing digital illustration since 2004 and it hasn't changed that much in these last 19 years. We use the same tablets made by the same brands and use the same software that is still to this day pretty much used in the same way. Sure, you may now have Procreate, which didn't exist 20 years ago, but it's basically the same tool with a better UI. We digital artists haven't seen a lot of changes since digital art has existed, and now this new thing comes along, and it is scary. But do you know who had to go through a lot of changes in the last 30 years of the job? Animators. 30 years ago, animators had to draw each frame with pencils on paper, and each frame had to be colored in a cell by hand, until they didn't. A new technology developed, and suddenly everything was colored in a computer. Backgrounds were hand-painted until they weren't. Did background painters lose their job? No, they actually learned how to use these new digital tools. And even though Pixar had been making 3D movies in the 90s, it was seen as a niche thing. It wasn't until Shrek showed up in the 2000s that people started talking about 2D animation being dead. Were 2D animators left without a job? No, some of them actually learned how to do 3D animations, and others just moved to other projects like TV and now streaming, which has a lot of 2D animation. And even 2D animation went fully digital, and now they use tools like puppets like they do in Bluey or like in Rick and Morty. New tools and new technology will demand that us artists learn how to use them and incorporate them in our workflow. And I'm not the only one who has reached this conclusion. The Bancroft brothers, Aaron Blaise, Jeremy Vickery, these are all very well-known animators that have been in the industry for 25 years. They have concerns about how AI will be used, but they're not scared, and neither should you, because AI won't kill art. We still don't know how we will incorporate this technology to our workflow. This is still early days, and it's very hard to get a good idea of how we will use it, but we will. But chances are that in 5 years, every artist will be using in some way or another an AI tool in their workflow. Unless you're a traditional artist, I don't think a robot will show up at your door and start painting for you. Reason number 5, right now, it's very hard to use. So yeah, finally, this thing is very hard to use right now. No, I'm not talking about asking a chatbot to create images for you. But if you want to do something a little bit more complex, it gets really hard. And I can tell you that because I tried it. I tried to make an AI learn how to draw in my styles to see what it will happen. And I had to watch hours and hours of YouTube tutorials about how to make Google lend you a computer that has a GPU that is on the other side of the world. And once you have it, you have to give all of your artwork to the cloud that has to be cropped in a certain size and in a certain proportion. And once you do all that, it will fail and fail and fail and fail again until you give up, just like I did. AI art feels so amateurish because it is. Everything that you want to do that is remotely complex with AI is so hard to use that most people stick to just prompting and prompting and prompting and prompting until you get a realistic version of Goku or something like that that you can post on Instagram and get a few likes, and that's it. So in conclusion, you can make money out of it, clients don't want it, artists don't want to use it, and audiences don't want to pay for it. The future of art is still in human hands, more specifically, your hand. But if you still feel like some broke crypto bro is going to come up to you with just a few Discord server prompts, watch this next video where I explain why prompting is not a career and it has no future.